ភាពមានទុនធាននិងមានជំនាញគ្រប់គ្រាន់ដើម្បីអាចផ្សព្វផ្សាយព័ត៌មាននឹងបានទៅដល់គ្រប់ទីកន្លែងហើយជួយប្រោះបរាសាធារណជនឲ្យស្គាល់អំពីផ្សារហ៊ុនបានកាន់តែច្បាស់អញ្ចឹងមានតែមាន CNC មួយគត់ដែលបានធ្វើការជាមួយយើងនៅថ្ងៃនេះយើងបានចុះហត្ថលេខាដែល CSX នៅក្នុងនោះ CSX ផ្ដល់សិទ្ធិឲ្យ CNC ផ្សព្វផ្សាយព័ត៌មាន
Hello, this is Cambodia. Today it's Monday, Constitution Day, and today we are going to take a look back at some of the development stories that have been covered over the weeks. Recently, it was announced that Cambodia is becoming more competitive. According to the World Economic Forum, Cambodia has risen at least 10 places in the competitiveness rankings. Meanwhile, countries from China to the UK are lining up to do business with Cambodia, which is great news for development. However, it can put a strain on existing infrastructure. We also take a light-hearted look back at a story we did about parking in Phnom Penh recently. Hello, I'm Thai Sutia. It's Monday, September the 24th, Constitution Day here in Cambodia. Cambodia is becoming more competitive, that is according to the World Economic Forum. Recently, the world body said that Cambodia has jumped more than 10 places in the world rankings.
When it comes to business, Cambodia can do almost no wrong nowadays, it seems. China is investing, the United States is paying attention, and European countries also appear to be getting involved. Now, the World Economic Forum in Switzerland says that Cambodia's competitiveness is also improving. The country now ranks 85th out of 144 countries, according to the latest survey. According to the World Economic Forum, Cambodia could be more competitive if it stamped out corruption and if the workforce was better educated. In comparison to other Asian nations, Cambodia finished ahead of Mongolia, but behind Vietnam and Thailand. With all the attention Cambodia is getting, the country's officials must be looking forward to next year's rankings.
China, it seems, recognizes the business attractiveness of Cambodia. Recently, Cambodian Prime Minister Samdech Techo Hun Sen returned to Cambodia from China with news of a $500 million pledge. The financial package was expected to include soft loans and grants. The United States was here recently, and so were the ASEAN economic ministers. They attended ASEAN-related events in Siem Reap. While they were here, they talked trade and investment and did deals. However, it was Cambodian Prime Minister Samdech Techo Hun Sen's visit to China last weekend that seemed to reap the most rewards.
In the meeting, Samdech Techo Prime Minister has proposed China to consider concessional financing for physical infrastructure development in Cambodia for next 5 years. In a year, a package is about 300 to 500 million US dollars. In response, Chinese Premier said Chinese government has given a positive consideration of the proposal and instructed Chinese Ministry of Commerce to cooperate with Cambodia's relevant ministries and institutions to continue working on this.
The Chinese loan agreement worth about $420 million were for unspecified projects. Another 3 loan agreements worth more than $80 million are expected to be signed this year, according to the Cambodian government. And there will also be a grant of $24 million to be used as Cambodia sees fit. China investment in Cambodia totaled $1.9 billion last year. This is more than double that of ASEAN countries, and 10 times more than the United States, which is trying to extend its influence in the region. With the current level of China's economic assistance to Cambodia, it looks like the ASEAN nations and the United States may well have their work cut out for them. The United States is also interested. A recent high-level delegation talked to ASEAN as well as Cambodia. Made in Cambodia. Products like these being made in factories in Cambodia are available all over the United States. In fact, Cambodia exports 10 times more goods to America than it imports from there. According to the most recent figures, bilateral trade between Cambodia and the U.S. has increased by nearly 5% in the first 6 months of this year compared to last year. This trend is expected to continue.
We need to branch out. Actually, it's been recognized by economists and the government alike over the years that we have too many eggs in the garment industry basket. And although it's been a great success story for Cambodia, we need to spread out the manufacturing. For example, right now you see a lot of Japanese companies coming here to do assembly and manufacturing, light manufacturing, and I think that the U.S. businesses can do the same thing.
At the moment, Cambodia produces mainly garments, textiles, and footwear for the United States. However, in the future, this could change. Soon, other industry may also be on the list of Cambodian-produced goods available in the United States. If that is the case, then exports to the U.S. could well surpass the $1.2 billion worth of products that have been exported to the U.S. so far this year. And then there is Indonesia, a growing powerhouse here in Asia. On the sidelines of the recent ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting, they signed a big deal for rice.
The ASEAN Economic Ministers Summit in Siem Reap is not just about ASEAN. It is also an opportunity for countries to hold bilateral talks and to do deals. On this occasion, it was a deal between Cambodia and Indonesia. It was an MOU signed between Cambodia's Minister of Commerce, Cham Praset, and Indonesia's Trade Minister, Gita Irawan Wirirajan. According to the agreement, Cambodia will provide rice to Indonesia in the amount of 100,000 tons, and that could be just for starters. Cambodian exports to Indonesia are expected to begin in 2013. Currently, Cambodian farmers produce an average 2 tons of rice per hectare, and they harvest twice a year. Hopefully, with this demand, this will also be the case this year too, drought or even rainy season permitting.
And with everyone coming to Cambodia to do deals, in the last couple of weeks, a delegation from Cambodia went to Britain. They were there to show UK companies exactly what Cambodia has to offer. Upon returning from a week-long visit in Europe, the Cambodian Chamber of Commerce delegation announced that the result was good as expected. According to Oknya Lumheng, who headed the delegation, British trade delegates will visit Cambodia next year. Their purpose is to learn more about business environment here.
In response, the British Chamber of Commerce as well as some British companies promised that they will lead a delegation to Cambodia next year to explore investment opportunities and enhance trade relations with Cambodia.
As for the visit in France, Oknya Lumheng also has something to tell Cambodian businessmen about it.
I would like to suggest that Cambodian businessmen who export goods to Europe go to France first, because in France there are trade fair center and Paris store that take in goods from various countries, especially ASEAN countries, for retail sale and wholesale to countries in the European community.
The visit to Europe was the first time ever, and it seems that it has made Cambodian businessmen optimistic about improved trade relations with Europe.
A group of the UK trade delegates will visit Cambodia probably in March or April next year. So we hope that from now on we can be better connected with the UK as well as Europe.
So, with all these positive results, Cambodia trade relations with European countries are expected to improve.
kan, hai lagi, demi nasi kan.